It was a calm evening in the outskirts of Somerville, a mid-sized town nestled in the plains of Colorado. The sun had begun to dip beneath the horizon, casting the world in hues of gold and orange. Families were sitting down to dinner. Dogs barked in backyards, and a few scattered teenagers loitered near the gas station at the edge of town. Nothing suggested that this day would be anything other than ordinary, until the sky split open. A thunderclap tore through the heavens, shaking windows and setting off car alarms. A streak of blinding white light screamed through the sky, followed by a long, trailing blaze like a comet, tearing the fabric of the atmosphere.
Get ready! Your power boost is here! Catch new...
The object moved too fast, too controlled for a meteor. It struck the forested hills just beyond the town's edge with a ground-shaking boom. A brief and terrifying silence followed, then a dull roar as fire spread amongst the trees. Emergency dispatch lines lit up. Reports ranged from a plane crash to some kind of bomb. Police, fire, and emergency services scrambled. Local news reporters headed there in their vans. All eyes turned to the woods. Deputy Charles Morris was the first on the scene, a 10-year veteran of the force. Charlie wasn't easily rattled, but nothing he'd faced, not high-speed chases, not meth lab standoffs, had prepared him for this. His cruiser crunched over scorched earth and broken pine trunks as he inched toward the impact site. The trees were blackened and burning, but the fire hadn't spread far. The epicenter was strange. It was a perfect circle of devastation. At its heart, a crater nearly 30 feet wide, glowing faintly from the molten earth. Then he saw it. A figure. Not a man, not truly. It stood well over 7 feet tall, sheathed in golden yellow armor, its plating scorched and dented, yet utterly solid. Smoke curled off its massive pauldrons. The figure moved with mechanical purpose, stepping out of the crater like a titan reborn. Its helmet turned slowly, scanning the forest. Charlie's heart pounded. He grabbed his radio. "Dispatch, this is Deputy Morris at Site Alpha. We've got a heavily armored individual, possibly military, sending video now." His body cam streamed live, catching the first clear footage of the behemoth. The feed cut in and out due to electromagnetic interference, but what remained was unmistakable. A giant, armored and armed. The Space Marine's auto senses flickered to life. His HUD cycled through damaged data streams. A voice buzzed in his mind, a machine spirit whisper, struggling to recover after the warp transition. Status: tactical drop pod offline. Location: unknown. Squad status: no biosigns detected. Mission parameters: unknown. He staggered slightly, the force of the drop still vibrating through his reinforced bones. Astarte's physiology kicked in, stabilizing his blood pressure, filtering out toxins. He inhaled deeply. Clean air, no signs of radiation, oxygen levels stable. The planet was habitable, but something was wrong. He was alone. His bolter was slung across his back, still magnetized to his armor. He reached for it instinctively, but did not raise it, not yet. In the distance, he heard the rumble of combustion engines. Primitive by Imperial standards, headlights pierced through the smoke. 3 police cruisers came into view, halting 100 feet away. The officers stepped out cautiously, their weapons drawn. "Put your hands where we can see them," shouted Officer Ramirez, his voice shaking. The Space Marine cocked his head. High Gothic? No. Low Gothic. Closer. It was an archaic dialect, but intelligible. He responded. "I am Brother Sergeant Castor of the 7th Legion, Imperial Fists Chapter. Identify this world and your allegiance." The officers froze. "What the hell did he just say?" Ramirez whispered. "He's got a gun the size of a cannon on his back," said Officer Leeds. "He's not responding to commands. He's a threat." Charlie raised his hand. "Hold. He hasn't attacked." Castor took a step forward. Instantly, rifles clicked. The tension snapped. "Stay back," one officer yelled. Castor's helmet turned to face him. His voice was calm. "I do not seek war with you, but if you threaten me, I will respond in kind." Charlie swallowed. "Sir, I need you to drop your weapon and lie down. We don't want to hurt you." Castor did not move. In his mind, he was facing some mutated local enforcers, possibly corrupted, certainly ignorant. He could not allow them to hinder him. He needed to know if this was terror. He needed a commanding officer. He needed orders. "Your authority is not recognized. Step aside." "Open fire." Gunfire erupted. Muzzle flashes lit the woods. Bullets sparked harmlessly off Castor's armor. One round found a weak point near his thigh joint, but it did not pierce his skin. The pain was negligible, and he moved like a golden avalanche. He didn't raise his bolter. Instead, he charged. Officer Leeds barely had time to scream before Castor hit him with a shoulder slam. The man flew 15 feet into a tree and crumpled, unconscious. Charlie drew his sidearm and fired 3 shots at center mass, but all bounced off. Castor grabbed the gun with one hand and crushed it like a soda can. He backhanded Ramirez, just enough force to knock him cold. Not lethal. Not yet. One officer, terrified, drew a taser. Castor stared at the sparking prongs and stepped forward. Primitive. He gripped the officer's vest and lifted him 2 feet off the ground. "Where is your emperor?" The man whimpered. I don't know what you're talking about." Castor dropped him.
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own story instead of...
Silence. The fight had lasted under 10 seconds. 6 trained officers, all incapacitated. Castor stood amidst the wreckage, breathing heavily. His mind churned. No reinforcements, no Vox signals, no recon drones. This world was blind. He walked to one of the cruisers and pried the door open. Inside, a laptop blinked weakly. He stared at it. It was an ancient machine, but perhaps useful. He retrieved a cable and plugged into the vehicle's data port. The machine's spirit within hissed in defiance, but yielded. Images, maps, symbols flooded his HUD. The word appeared again and again. Earth. Castor sat behind the twisted remains of a pine tree. He watched the sunset. It was not unlike those on ancient Terra. The familiarity disturbed him. He played back video files, news clips, cultural artifacts, presidents, wars, nations, religion, cities, all too small, too fractured. This was Terra, and yet it was not the throne world he knew. Where was the Emperor's light? Where were the legions? the statues of the Primarchs. By the time the state troopers arrived, Castor was gone. He left the wounded officers alive, though dazed. Charlie would later recall the Marine pausing before disappearing into the forest. He looked back at me, he'd tell the investigators. Not like a killer, more like a machine. Drone footage caught him striding across a field at night, heading toward the nearest city. A golden shadow beneath the stars. As Castor approached the city, he updated his battle log with one single sentence. I go to find the heart of terror. If it still beats, I will know. If not, I will make it beat again.